You are watching News Channel 8 today.
Good morning, I'm Greg Praver. Thanks for joining us. I just spoke with Tampa's Mayor Bob Buckhorn about his future expectations for the Tampa Riverwalk. Here's what he had to say. After yesterday's shark attacks in Oak Island, North Carolina, I spoke to a shark expert today who gave me these 3 tips in order for you to stay safe. I'm here at the Georgia Aquarium's whale shark tank, as you can see, and our very own Jeremy Campbell's about to take a dive in. According to a spokesperson here at Tampa International Airport, 18 flights have been delayed. Clear skies, soft sand, sunny days. What's not to like about Clearwater Beach? Well, the city is cutting down on the length of stay of guests in houses and apartments. We'll see newly acquired quarterback TJ Yates and the rest of the HBO's Hard Knocks crew back on the field later in July for training camp. Greg Praver, 11 Alive Sports. The long wait is over, and for them, they're now getting to live the American dream. They're already lining up to get passports. In Tampa, I'm Greg Praver for News Channel 8. It's not every day that you see this at a parade, a giant 10-foot-long joint. The presence of pot on a float at a July 4th celebratory parade in Temple Terrace has stirred a lot of controversy.
Here in Florida, we see that there's overwhelming support for this. So what I'm surprised at is the negative reactions.
Executive Director Chris Cano and the rest of the Central Florida Normal organization are trying to raise awareness to the Florida public. That's his biggest priority.
Families can't wait another 2 years for this to happen. We have to pass this election cycle, and that's why our float was so important, to raise that awareness.
Normal paid the required fee to participate in the parade, but some parents are asking, was this the right venue?
To have that in a parade that's mainly families, especially with very young children all the way up to teenagers, it didn't seem like the best venue for that type of free speech.
We're not trying to push drugs on anybody's kids. This is a legitimate medicine that we want to see doctors able to recommend in the state of Florida to suffering patients.
30 wheelchair athletes from around the world traveled to Cedartown, Georgia to compete in its annual 5K race. For winner Tatiana McFadden, it sure was fast. She broke the course record.
It was a great race. Cedartown is one of the best races that we have all year, and it's fun and it's fast.
For the men, Josh George came out victorious.
That is a tough 5K. You're working hard from the gun to the finish line.
But more important than the race, it's a community-wide event, one that brings neighbors and families together. In Cedartown, Greg Praver, 11 Alive Sports. Ross Harris, the Georgia father whose 22-month-old son Cooper died after being left in a hot car for hours a month ago, is currently facing charges of second-degree cruelty to a child, along with felony murder. He headed to court this afternoon for a preliminary hearing in his case. Harris was denied bond and returned to jail following the 3-hour probable cause hearing. Jessica Gable, a law professor at Georgia State University, thought it was a tough task for the defense attorney to prove why Harris should have been released on bond.
Especially once the prosecution decided to discuss the sexting portion of their case and what they're working on right now, it really became an uphill battle for the defense.
Defense attorney Maddox Kilgore says Harris is not guilty.
We've said he's not guilty from the beginning. We've said this was an accident from the beginning. That hasn't changed. So we're ready to get to work. Pretty encouraged by a lot of things that went on in there today. Disappointed we didn't get a bond, but we'll work on that later.
Magistrate Judge Frank Cox mentioned a possible death penalty case for Harris. Looking ahead, he'll have to go before a grand jury for the next stage of the case. Greg Praver, 11 Alive News. What percentage of the participants are first-timers?
I would say about 50.
10%.
Probably 30%.
75%.
10.
50.
I'd say 20.
23%. You were very close. 23%.
Ah, my age.
Yes. Only 3 women participated in the first ever Peachtree Road Race. What percentage of this year's contestants are women?
Half, yeah.
Half.
80%.
54%.
What? You just got it. New this morning, several people are in the hospital following a major accident in St. Pete. An officer discovered people trapped inside the wreckage at 5th Avenue South and 31st Street South. An FWC officer is out of the hospital and is expected to be okay after a terrifying experience in Panama City. The officer was patrolling the waters when, according to police, 2 men shot him, stole his boat, and tried to run him over. Wow. It happened after the officer asked the men for ID. The officer returned fire, injuring one of them. A Good Samaritan helped track them down. After weeks of rain, a lot of golf courses have closed until they dry out. But don't put your clubs away so fast, just bring them to Topgolf. Coming up after the break, this isn't your grandpa's clubhouse. An hour of Topgolf is just $20 until 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday and until noon on weekends. Each bay holds 6 people. They also have pool tables in the game room that you could use for free. I'm Greg Praver. Dan Uggla is a Brave no more. The team released the struggling second baseman today, less than 4 years into his mammoth 5-year contract. No personal clothes in his locker when we got to the ballpark today. Uggla will go down as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, contract flop in franchise history. Uggla's release comes at the end of the All-Star break after he had been suspended Sunday for reportedly being late to the ballpark for what turned out to be his final game on the roster. Let's break it down by the numbers. This season, Dan was only hitting .162 with 2 homers and 10 RBIs. He was 1 for 20 since May 23rd, 0 for 10 as a pinch hitter. And as for the money, he's still owed around $19 million just to sit on the couch. That should ease the pain a little. We will be right back with more after this.